Hello, everybody, and welcome to A-Level Government and Politics. My name is Gavin Sheffield. I am the incoming course team leader for A-Level Government and Politics at Long Road. And this is a very quick video, first of all, just to introduce you to me, and secondly, to talk through the work we'd like you to do over summer in preparation for you joining us in the autumn. Welcome to politics, and thank you for choosing it and being interested in it. It is a fascinating subject, and you will not regret studying it. It is also a live subject, which means it's happening all the time. Literally, politics is going on as I'm speaking to you right now, and as you're watching this right now, whenever that happens to be. And that's our job. We're going to analyse, we're going to look at events, we're going to figure out how they work, we're going to debate them, and more importantly, we're going to read some exciting stuff about them and figure out how to get the best out of it we can in terms of our personal views and opinions and everything else. That's what politics is wonderful for. Okay. Now, the important thing about this video today is just to talk you through what I'd like you to do before you join us in the autumn. So I'll move to that sheet. As you can see, I've shared that with you right here. And first of all, what we'd like you to do is read an article called A Beginner's Guide to Studying Politics. It's fairly straightforward. It just talks through the course, how the exams work, what to expect. And there's a little task too that's linked to that I'll go to in just a minute. This is testing your reading skills. Politics is really about reading, and we can't fib to you about that. That is pretty much what it is, but the reading is fascinating when you know what you're looking at. And to help you do that, task 2 is about creating a glossary of key terms. So when you look at the article for task 1, you'll see an orange box on page 1. It contains a few key terms. And what I'd like you to do is create your own glossary. This glossary should follow the format or a similar format to the one I've got on the sheet here. And you're going to bring this to every lesson, okay, starting with the first lesson to talk about an induction. The simple truth is this: once you get used to the key terms of the subject, like any subject, it will become much easier to write about them in answers and essays, and you'll get much more comfortable showing off your knowledge to other people about how much you know about politics. Okay, that first task there will help you get a bit of confidence about what you're doing, and it'll talk about note taking and give you some good links to podcasts and to TV shows and newspapers you should read. So there's lots of exciting stuff. And task 2 will build off that slightly. That's a bit of research for you as well. So reading in the first task, research in the second. Task 3 is also very straightforward. It's about answering a series of beginner questions that we'd like you to look at. These are things like, who's the head of state in the UK? How many presidents have there been in the US? When did the US declare its independence? When are the general elections called in the UK? These are things that we'd like you to know before you join us for your first lesson, really. Now, again, don't worry if you have to look these up. We don't expect you to know them off heart. If you do, brilliant. If you don't, then that's fine. Google them, look them up, figure them out. As long as you write answers out to us and bring them in, we're going to be happy about how you get there. Okay, it's a great place to start, and we can talk about these in induction as well. Task 4 is where I'd like you to have a bit of fun. Okay, task 4, I've picked 3 things I'd like you to research. One of them you pick. Okay, you don't have to do all 3. If you want to do more than one, that's fine, but really just one is enough. And I'd like you to find articles that agree and disagree on this particular aspect. Now, you can either choose Israel and Hamas fighting over the Gaza Strip, which only came to a ceasefire last week, or you can look at the Capitol attack in January in Washington, D.C. by followers of President Trump, or you can look at the UK government response to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been going on for nearly a year and a bit now. So plenty of opportunity to look at stuff. And as you can see here, I'd like you to create a table using quotes from the articles and general opinions where you summarise what they say. I'd like you to look for areas of agreement and areas of disagreement between these things. Get used to the idea that articles sometimes agree on things as much as disagree. I think it's a good idea to read those and think about that and think, well, okay, what opinions am I getting here? Do the people who support President Trump think that the riot in January was okay, just a form of legitimate protest? And are there other people who say it was a horrible attack and it was almost counting towards what they call sedition and treason, very, very serious offences? Have a look at those. Don't be too surprised if you find agreements as well. But I'd like you to illustrate these with quotes, okay, to make sure you show me that you understand those articles and you've read through them. Task 4, to help you with that a little bit, there's some things you could look into, and we emphasise reputable sources. Okay, the difference between a reputable source you can trust and one that you can't do. I'm going to leave that up to your judgment to start with, but we've got some lists here of things you might want to look into, including some podcasts, some radio shows, and some TV shows as well. It's a good idea to get used to watching these a little bit. I'm not saying you have to watch them all the time, but the more you get used to the way people talk about politics, the easier it will be for you to do it as well. Okay. Obviously, if you can think of something that we haven't mentioned on our list, then you can add that to our list as well. We'll be ongoing with this for the 2 years, and we're going to look at US and UK politics. So obviously, there's lots of things we can look into for there. Task 5 is also a big one as well. This is about testing your writing skills. So what I'd like you to do is put together a report of 500 words, which is about 1.5 sides of A4, probably, depending on your handwriting. And there's 3 things that should be in this report. Firstly, I'd like you to tell me about the political event you researched for Task 4. So that's either COVID response, Gaza, or the Trump rioters in January. And I'd like to know your reactions to that event and to big political events of the summer. I'm obviously speaking to you right now in about May time. By the time you come back in August, September, some things may have happened that are quite big in terms of politics. And anything that's occurred locally or nationally or internationally, I'd like you to respond about how you feel about certain things. And also, finally, and most importantly, I'd like you to tell me in this report why you're looking forward to studying politics, what's driven you to it, and what you're hoping to get from it too. Okay, so it's quite a lot for 500 words, but you can go to town a little bit here and show off and think about what you like and what you're interested in, and that will be different for each of us. That's the nature of politics, and that's something we're definitely going to get used to. There's an extension task as well if you want to go a bit further here, which is to write an extra concluding paragraph saying which of the events you pick for task 4 will have the biggest impact. So is Gaza going to have an impact beyond just Gaza and Israel? Is it going to have a bigger impact for the world? Is the attack on the Capitol in Washington going to have an impact for anything other than the people of Washington and the people of the USA? And does the COVID pandemic response by the UK government have an impact on a specific group? Can you identify a specific group? Did it disproportionately affect ethnic minorities, people of a certain age group perhaps? So it's worth thinking about that. And if you want to add that to your final paragraph, you can do as an extension task. Also, quite importantly, at the bottom here is about preparation for the start of college. What do you need to bring with you when you start? Okay. First of all, your glossary and answers to the beginner's questions. So that's task 2 and 3. Okay. Number 2 is the research grid. That's from task 4. So your research grid you've created from the articles you've looked up about agreement and disagreement with quotes as necessary. The third thing is your report of 500 or more words. So remember, you could write a little bit more on that, but 500 is probably what we expect as a minimum. So that's about 1.5 sides, again, depending on your handwriting size. It does vary. And quite importantly as well, some things you're definitely going to need. First of all, a folder with A4 lined paper with margins on it, which makes it very easy to write comments from my point of view, and also quite easy to organise yourselves. Organisation is quite important. I think you'll probably realise that as we go along as well. Pens, obviously, and also please come in autumn with that enthusiasm. Have a good rest over the summer and come back thinking, right, I'm going to start with politics now, brand new subject, like a clean slate. What do I want to get out of this? The more organised you are, the better it will be. Okay. Now, hopefully that hasn't been too long for you. That's gone through some of the tasks I'd like you to do, and hopefully you'll enjoy those. Have a really, really good summer, and I can't wait to speak to you all in autumn and start guiding you through these topics because they are fantastic, and you will not regret picking politics. Okay, see you soon. Bye.